the challenges most women face in their career and businesses. Second is our inspiring conversation series held on Instagram Live, 3 out of 4 Saturdays a month, featuring ladies within the network who are doing extraordinary things in their lives. Third being our Power Up Monday series, where one word is chosen and used to motivate members of the community. These powerful 1-minute bite-sized nuggets have been known to charge up EPR women as they enter into a new week. Next is our quarterly hangouts built to foster collaboration and networking. We've held activities such as virtual tea parties, celebrated International Women's Day, and other fun activities. Lastly is the annual virtual Emergence Conference. EPR's Women's Professional Network is a one-stop shop where female leaders can access multiple resources designed to equip them on topics that matter while building strong relationships for quantum gains personally and professionally. If you are looking to connect, support, and learn from other amazing professional Christian women, then EPR's Women's Professional Network is the place for you. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the June 2022 edition of the EPR Women's Professional Network webinar series. Excited to have you today. My name is Kemi Akindutire. I'm the global lead for the EPR Women's Professional Network, and I'm super excited that we're having this amazing topic this month, today. This month being the Mental Health Awareness Month. There's a lot talk about, how we manage stress, how we manage ourselves and everything. And I'm just so elated and in great anticipation about what we're going to learn today. The topic being becoming iconic, the inner work to create more impact, influence, and income with less stress. So excited to have our speaker today, who I will introduce in a bit. But again, welcome. A few logistical items here. I know our participants are joining, and we just want to make sure that you're all settling in fine. Also want to connect with you. So tell us, where are you joining in from? I know I already see some people from Kenya, and I'm mentioning Kenya because we just got back from Nairobi, and they are such an amazing group of ladies out there. In fact, I can't wait to go back there. We have representation from different parts of the world. So if you're here, we want you to know your name, where you're logging in from. Tell us in chat. Just give us a feel, and I want to also get confirmation that you can hear me. Actually, to be honest, but let's know where you're calling in from. If you're on YouTube, again, welcome. We want to invite you. Please join us in Zoom. It's a place where we can, just cozy up, learn together, grow together, interact. You can ask questions, and I'm sure, this is going to be an amazing time indeed. Please, as you come in, you will probably be muted, so please stay muted unless you get to a point where you're asked questions or you're engaging, so that we can kind of move smoothly through the program today. If you don't have a notebook or a pen or something to write with, your phone, a device, whatever it is, please get one, because it's very important when we come for these sessions like this. You really want to leverage the power of writing things down. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. There's a reason behind that. I don't know about you, but when you write things down, you give it power. You give those ideas, you bring it to life in some way or fashion. So let's get pens and notebooks. So take a break, quickly go get one, and interact. In chat, the team, the EPR Women's Professional Network, we're out there interacting with you on YouTube, on the web, on Zoom. So share your comments, reflect what you're hearing. We want to feel that energy, even though we can't be with you physically. We want to feel you. We want to hear you. We want to know what you're thinking. And of course, if you have questions along the way, please put them in chat. We're going to be taking questions at some point. So again, get ready to learn, to grow, to be stretched. And I tell you, our speaker for today is amazing. She's going to, whip us into shape today so that we know exactly what we need to do to get to that next level. Amazing. All right. So who are we? Women's Professional Network. Again, for those of you who don't know us, are not familiar with us, just a quick one. Our goal, our vision is really to to create, which we're already created actually, a platform where Christian professional women can access tools, resources, whatever they need to deploy their gifts and talents in the marketplace being your business, your career, your ministry, in any of the spheres of society. So that's what we do. We build you up, we empower you. And so hopefully you get something that will take you to that next level today. Okay. All right. So without further ado, again, as you're, before I introduce our guest speaker, actually, just wanted to get a feel for those. I'm going to look in chat for a minute. If you are, you're here today and you signed up, you saw the flyer for some reason, maybe you're a member of the network, but, I want to get a feel for, what do you expect to get out of this session today? What stood out to you on the flyer that made you say, I'm going to register for this? Because we have a huge, I'm expecting more people to join us. So again, if you're on YouTube, please join us on Zoom. So in chat, what is it that you expect from today? As you do that, you want to hear and, we're going to take that in so that we make sure that we're, kind of channeling your questions in that direction. And I believe it's going to help our speakers too. But just put it in chat. What do you expect to get from this session? So anybody, a couple of people in chat? I don't see you talking. All right. No expectations from anybody. Oh, okay. This is going to be it. I was drawn in by the word iconic. Beautiful, beautiful expansion on the word iconic. I love that. I have that. That's big on my mind too. Networking opportunities, information. Great, great, great. All right. What else? Anybody else? Before we do, these are good ones. A big one, iconic. What's that? What does it mean to us and everything? I'm sure we will learn that more. Honestly, I know I'm created for more. I've been praying for more capacity, but there are levels to this. This is Chichi. I love you. Hi, Chichi, my girl. But there's levels to this. I want to work smart and have great ROI on all that has been invested in. Beautiful. Oh my God. What does it mean to be iconic and how to achieve it? I desire to be the best of me. Hey, awesome. All right, more information as a business owner. Beautiful. Keep it coming. I am tired of being ordinary. Esther, go girl. I know it. We're all tired. We want to be extraordinary. We are significant in EPR. Gaining more income with less stress. I know about that. I am phenomenal. Beautiful. Keep it coming. Without further ado, let me introduce our speaker. I know I've kept you in anticipation. So, Ekene, join me in welcoming Ekene Onu. She is beautiful, phenomenal. I'm sure you can see it already and see her. She's a mindset and transformational coach and expert on feminine leadership and power. She was a pharmacist. She's a pharmacist that she practiced for a couple of decades until she decided to reinvent herself and went into a personal, revolution. And now she's really focused on reclaiming her feminine power. She has created a life of passion and purpose for herself. She now she works in various spheres, works with companies, she works with individuals to really help them harness their feminine power on so many levels. She is an emotional intelligence coach. She's an organizational consultant, the CEO, the chief principal of Refresh with Ekene LLC, and a coaching and consulting company. Also the founder of the iconic womanhood brand. As you know, I'm sure today we're going to uncover what that means. Beautiful, beautiful lady inside. I've heard her speak a couple of times, been to at least one of her masterminds and everything. And truly, when you talk about someone who really tries to bring out that soulful and purposefulness in us as women, she is the person to talk to. So join me today as we welcome Ekene Onu.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for having me. I feel like, listen, let me do this. Thank you. What an incredible bio, incredible welcome. And I just want to say thank you, all of you, for taking time out of your busy Saturdays to come in to this webinar. I don't take it for granted, especially the opportunity to speak to women of faith. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Nikki. I see some of our mastermind alumni. Thank you for being here. So what I'd love to do, I want to share my screen with you and kind of get into what it means to be iconic. I love that question that you guys answered. Why are you here? And the different responses. And I think one of my favorite responses is, I don't want to be ordinary anymore. I don't want to be ordinary anymore. All right, I'm having a little trouble sharing my screen. I wonder why. Can you guys see?
Let me give you, I think I need to probably make you co-host. That might be the issue. So give me a second here as I sort you out.
Sure. While you do that, I will expand on what it means to be iconic and why I use that terminology. And in fact, how deep it runs. I literally just came off one of our cohort events. So I have different masterminds, different cohorts of the mastermind. And so I just came off teaching one, which is why I'm literally running from them into you guys.
Oh, wow.
And so the terminology, the iconic word, which you're seeing everywhere, is so interesting how you have to be in season. Because when God gave me this word, it was quite a few years ago, and it wasn't as popular as it is now. I feel like it's everywhere. But he also gave me a meaning for it. And so there's an acronym that we've actually trademarked, right? We're in the process of finalizing it. And I trademarked the acronym because the word is the word, but the acronym is unique to me. And what the acronym stands for is inspired and inspirational, courageous.
Should be able to share now.
Can you hear me? So inspired,
yes.
Awesome. Inspired, courageous, original, necessary, intentional, and compelling. And that's actually the framework I'm going to take you all through this morning. Still not, let's see.
It says you started screen sharing, so hopefully it's
coming up. Not a problem. We'll get it sorted. So yeah.
We love technology. We can do this. Don't you
love technology? I know.
I love it.
Okay, I think I'm going to use another tool. Since I'm having trouble with this tool, let's use another one. All right, so like I said, I'm going to take you through this framework today, and let's see. Everybody say with me, the devil is a liar.
The devil is a big liar.
That's right. Okay, I think we got it now. Can you see?
Yes, we can see.
Awesome. Look at God. Look at God. All right, so I want to take you through this framework. Like I said, it means being inspired, courageous, original, necessary, intentional, and compelling. And it really is about understanding that the life you desire, the success you desire, it's not something that's going to come from the outside. It's something that God has already placed on the inside of you. And I'm living proof of that. I'll tell you more about my story as we go along. As you already saw in my bio, I always believe it's important to ask the question, why should you trust a person? Who's this person? Why are you listening to them? Especially in today's world where there's so many voices. But I want to tell you kind of what I have been doing, that where my mastery comes from. So of course, I'm a woman with my own story, and I'll share my story in a minute so you'll understand where my passion and my why comes from. But what I believe in is mastery as well. So once I identified, and this was an area of interest for me, and an area that God had for me, and a sphere of influence I was meant to take dominion in, I had to do the work to invest in myself, to elevate to mastery. In fact, I'm continually investing in myself. And so I have experience. I have close to a decade of coaching. I've not been coaching since last year. I've been coaching for a very long time. I have worked with all kinds of people across the diaspora in all kinds of business sectors, from Hollywood to mining. My clients are across the globe at different sectors. I've worked with people who are at entry level. I've worked with CEOs. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I've been hired by some of those companies to come in and do leadership training and coaching. And so I have a depth of experience. When I decided that I was going to go into coaching, I got certified. I have a number of certifications as a professional coach. One of the ones I lean on heavily is social and emotional intelligence coaching. I also went back to school, studied at Georgetown. I got another certification from Cornell. And just recently, I'm finalizing my training in somatic embodiment. So I deeply believe in mastery. And so as I take you through this program, I want you to understand that it is informed by life experience. It is informed by my spiritual connection, but it is also deeply informed and supported by mastery. So pretty much everything I'm going to teach you, you will see that there's something that really undergirds the insights. It's not just, it sounds good, it's research backed, it's scientific. I'm a believer in that. I understand that this organization cuts across Africa, but I see a lot of Nigerians in here, and I am Nigerian, so I know that you can relate to me when I say that we like to know book. Education is important to us, and so a lot of the things I do are undergirded by that. You guys already answered this question about why you're here. I love that the spirit is one. We were already on that. I'd like you to take a minute, though, and go deeper into that question, right? So there were a lot of different responses. People said, I want to have more income with less stress. I know I'm more. I liked that other response as well. I know I'm created for more. I've been praying for more capacity. I know that I'm meant to be iconic. I want to be the best of me. So I want you to take a moment, right? And I want to just lead you through something. Close your eyes really quickly. And I'm just going to take you through a little breath work to calm, right? And get centered in your body. And then I want you to begin to visualize, right? And by visualizing, just follow what I'm asking you to do. I promise we're not going to do anything weird, but I want you to begin to see it, what it is you desire, okay? So let's take a moment. If you would close your eyes, take a deep breath in. And I want you to take that deep breath all the way down into your diaphragm. So you should feel your belly rise just a little bit, right? And you're going to hold the breath, and then you're going to release it through your mouth. Okay. Take another deep breath in all the way into your belly. Hold. And then release. Let's do that one more time. Take another deep breath in. Hold. And then release. And now you're going to keep breathing, keeping your attention on your breath, and then release. And as you continue to breathe, I'd like you to consider what life would look like if you had that success that you desire. If you were iconic, what would that look like? I want you to imagine that you are living a day in that life. I want you to see yourself waking up that morning as that iconic woman, as that more that you know that you're created for, as that extraordinary woman. I want you to see yourself waking up and starting your day and moving through your day. I want you to pay attention to your environment, pay attention to yourself, how you look and how you feel in your body, who's around you. I want you to think about the finances that you have, the impact that you have. And you're just moving through the day. You're doing what you do as that iconic woman, feeling what you feel. And now I want you to come to the end of the day, and I want you to sit on your bed, and you're just reflecting and thinking about the day you've had. I want you to ask yourself, what makes me proud? What makes me excited about that day? Why was this day an extraordinary day? What am I most grateful for? I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to come back into the room. And now I'd like for you to answer the question, what does that success look like? What does that success look like? What does that success look like? Let's put that in the chat box. Yeah. Take a minute. What does that success look like? Accomplishments, okay, a state of peace and fulfillment. Excellent. Excellent. Anyone else? Some tangible responses are good as well. Joyful and fulfilling. Very good. So fulfillment. Awesome. That's important. It's important. And the reason why I created this framework is because so many people, when they think about success, the way they've been taught to go about success, they enter into something I call soulless success, which I'll talk about a little bit later. You are pursuing success, desiring success, but it's only success in one dimension. So maybe your career is great, but everything else is not quite so great. Or you want money, but everything else doesn't quite work. And even the way that we've been taught to pursue success, it's pretty linear often, and it doesn't take into account everything else. So it's not holistic. So we need a different solution. And that's what this framework provides, a different solution. There's some of you that know that you're created for more. How many people can relate to this? You know you're created for more. You know that you can do more, which quite honestly, you're exhausted already. You can't take one more thing on your plate. Like, I feel like I'm barely holding it all together, right? And you're asking me to do more. How many people can relate to that? And when I go into the framework, you'll understand more about why this happens, because we are doing it the way that the world teaches you to do it, or what I consider to be a very masculine way of approaching success. This is a feminine way. I believe it is the way that God has ordained for us, and certainly for the women that are attracted to the work that I do. And this is the pillar, the framework that informs our mastermind, my courses, anyone that works with me privately. This is the framework that we use, that when you understand how to be inspired, courageous, original, necessary, intentional, and compelling, you are able to completely transform your life. Yes, you're created for more, but stress due to work pressure, this is going to change all of that. So I want to take you through the different pieces of the framework, okay? We're going to start with inspired. What does that actually mean, to be inspired? So many of us, even especially women of faith, right? I feel like Christian women, we have an edge. We have that extra thing that can make us, soar, but so many of us don't lean on it. We still lean on our own understanding. Those of us that are bright, intelligent, it's one of the challenges of being an educated woman. We tend to lean on that education versus leaning on the Spirit. So let me break some things down. The first thing is that for many people, many of you here, you fall into the category of what I would call #goals. So many of you, people look at you and they tell you they admire you, they look up to you, you are successful. But deep down inside, you don't feel successful. You don't feel as if it's something is missing, right? There's that niggling feeling on the inside. I wish something would change. I don't know what it is. And you can't even really talk about it to anybody, because when you do, people are like, what are you talking about? Look at your life. You're awesome. I wish I could be like you. But deep down inside, you feel deeply unfulfilled. You feel dissatisfied. And you're wondering, is it that I'm not content? But I want you to understand that what I believe you're experiencing is what I call the call of the icon. It is a desire to rise from success to significance. It is not because you are full of yourself. It is not because you want to be on top or some sort of selfish, narcissistic goal. No, it is answering the call that God has placed inside of you. It is a divine desire. He said, I'll give you the desires of your heart. And so this idea that I want to rise is not necessarily pride and arrogance, but what if it is the possibility that God has placed inside of you, seeking expression, because he said, I created you to be a city on a hill and a lamp that cannot be hidden. There is a reason why there's a part of you is wanting to rise from success to significance. That thing, that feeling, that call of the icon, when it goes unanswered, it creates a feeling of dissonance within us, and we're uncomfortable and we're unhappy. We don't feel good. How many people can relate to this? Listen, while I'm talking throughout this experience that I'm having with you, I'd love you to do one thing for me. If you're on Instagram or anywhere else, but Instagram is my primary area right now, put something in the stories and tag me in it. If you're not following me already, go follow me, @iconicwomanhood_coach, and put something and tag me in it so that when I get done, I can connect with you, right? This is something that really a lot of women struggle with. So right now, I want you to embrace it. I want you to be able to say, you know what? I embrace this desire within me. I just came off the call with one of the mastermind cohorts, and the woman on the call, one of the ladies in the cohort, she said, she was embracing her desire to buy a private jet. She's like, I want to buy a private jet, right? And of course, and it may sound like, oh my God, wait a minute, right? But it's so powerful. And she was talking about how her embracing that desire, she and her company, they're having different conversations right now. It really sounded far-fetched from when she started, but literally that was something that came up in her. Another person in the same call was talking about, literally the call I just came off right now. And by the way, people have this idea that, people in the mastermind, oh my God, they're so far ahead. And no, we're all in the same place. We're all called. We're all called. And God qualifies the call. The minute you answer the call, you will see that what God can do exponentially in your life. The minute you say yes, because when I started my business, people were like, who are you to start this business? I'm a child of God, called, and he has qualified me. The minute you say yes, watch and see what God will do. So she was having that conversation. Another woman now shared how she started flying. And this might sound frivolous to some of you, and for many of you, others might be like, oh, it's not a big deal, right? But she was saying how for her, she had to, when she decided that she was going to own, that she was worth more and she desired more and she was going to take hold of her desire. One of the things she did was when she flies, whenever possible, she'll fly business class. And she talked about how her last trip, she was traveling, and in front of her, the gentleman that was traveling, and she could see that he was seated in economy and he was really struggling to walk. He was struggling. He was in a lot of pain. She could tell. And she said to him, you know what? Take my seat. I'm going to go sit in your seat in economy. You take my business class seat. And I was just like, I was like this. I was like, that's awesome. Because when you answer the call of the icon, God wants you to have to give. He wants you to rise, to elevate others. And so it is imperative that we as women of faith get out of the way and own our desire. This is the business of being inspired. I'm not talking about a desire of the flesh, very different. I'm talking about the desire of the heart. One of the things we do in the Iconic Woman Mastermind is I help you understand the power of desire and how to discern and how to harness and demystify faith and many of the Christian concepts that we don't really understand. We don't understand things that are supposed to open doors for us, that when you understand it, you start living differently. I talk about divine direction. So many of us don't understand. We think that being spirit-led is about being righteous, that we want to say we speak in tongues, we want to say we pray, but we don't understand that we need to be really spirit-led, that if you are spirit-led, what you are striving to do will become effortless for you. And I'm living proof of this. So many of us fall into that soulless success. The world teaches you have to hustle, you have to grind, you have to keep pushing, you keep suffering. Life is work, life is hard. I saw a t-shirt somewhere and I took a picture of it. It said, life is hard. I said, I reject it in Jesus' name. My life is not hard. My life is easy, okay? My life is easy. I refuse, all right? And if you don't believe that, you can't receive it. So many of us have this soulless success mentality. That's literally what the world teaches. You keep pushing yourself at all costs. You don't know when to rest. I posted something recently that in this season, I'm in a season of rest, but I'm not in a season of reduction. Even in my rest, I am elevating. Let me tell you, even in the rest, I see things happening. I was like, in the physical, I'm going to be resting, but supernaturally, things are being added. Opportunities are coming. And I'm telling you what I'm realizing and what I've been doing, practicing personally and teaching, and I've led so many women through these processes, the women in the mastermind. Honestly, the experiences they have validate that all you have to do is say yes to the right things. When you are spirit-led, it is a game changer. And it's as if blessings upon blessings keep coming your way. When you are inspired, you stop struggling so much with imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, from a woman of faith perspective, the reason why you're struggling with it is you're trying to do it in your own strength. I don't struggle with imposter syndrome because I already believe that I'm not enough as I am, but I'm enough with God. So I'm not trying to do this by myself. I'm trying to do this with God. I'm leaning on what God has put inside of me. So that's the first piece. If you are to become iconic, you have to understand what it means to be inspired. I want to give you an inspired case study. These are real people that I worked with. So Dr. Pema is one of our clients. She's also an alumni of the Iconic Women Mastermind. She was in the first cohort. If you go to the page, Iconic Women Mastermind, you'll see her video where she's talking. This is her actual TED Talk. Now, before we met, before she started working with me, this was not something that she actually thought she would actually do, right? But in working with me, now, by the way, she was a doctor. She had done all the research, everything she did, because I'm not here making you. I don't make people. I simply help you understand who you are and what you bring to the table and help you connect to being iconic. And through that, she became a TED Fellow, which is one of the most competitive experiences. They only take a handful of people and get tens of thousands of applications every year. Well, they picked her. I remember when I told her, I think you should apply for the TED Fellowship. She's like, well, no. I was like, no, you're iconic. You need to apply. And she applied and got in. And now her talk has been watched over 2 million times. And I want you to think about the kind of exposure that being on a TED stage, not even a TEDx stage. TEDx brings something, but imagine being a TED Fellow, what that does for you. I'm not even going to say much else. Let me keep moving. Let me tell you my own story. This is me, my story, as a case study. The business of being inspired. See, the woman on the left, that's me. When I was trying to do it in my strength, I was a pharmacist. I was trying to do what they told me to do, but I was so unhappy. And for me, I ate my unhappiness. I'm an emotional eater, recovering, still in recovery, still need deliverance for bread. Let me lay hands on my own self. Hallelujah. Okay. Still need deliverance. But I'm telling you, I was living in this body and I was fortunate because my body was showing my dissatisfaction. But so many women are living that way and they don't carry it on their bodies. They tuck it away in their purses. It's hidden in a way. No one can see how dissatisfied you are. No one can see how unhappy you are. No one can see how unfulfilled you are. Only you know, late in the midnight hour, you are crying to yourself. But for me, I was fortunate because I was wearing it on my body. And in fact, I remember this particular picture. This was back in the day when we used to have to go wash you guys remember when you would take a picture, then you have to take it to like the pharmacy, they'll wash it for you, and then you'll get the physical pictures. This is before phones, before we take pictures phones, right? Do you remember? This is before filters. So you had the hard, raw truth that you had to look at. I remember when I got this picture, I pulled it out of you get it in an envelope, right? I got it out of the envelope and I started to cry. Because the woman in the picture, I could not relate to. I'm like, who is this? How is this me? How is this my life? On paper, everything looked good. I was making 6 figures. I owned a home. I was married, had a child, yada, yada, all the things I was supposed to check the boxes. But I was so far from the woman I was created to be. The process of becoming iconic is not me telling you how to become something other than what you are. It is you literally tapping into who God has made you to be. The woman on the right, this was actually one of my very early events. I think this is 2013 or 2014. I hadn't even gotten half of the mastery that I have today. But that woman was awake. That woman was now walking in the center of God's will for her. That desire that I had, that expression, that possibility had started becoming expressed. I was becoming fully expressed. I didn't even have the level of power and presence that I have today. But I was on my path. I was on my journey. And you can see the marked difference, even physically. What you can't see is spiritually, what changed in my life, emotionally, and certainly financially. Today, I can testify that what I was making as a salary, I can pay it and more to others and still be making the good money that I want by the grace of God. And I love the work that I do. I have freedom. I can do what I need to do. I can take care of people. I have to give. I can be a source. I have a team. We pay salary. I've never missed a salary ever by the grace of God, but it's doing what God called us to do. So right now, I want you to sit with this question. Do I feel called to rise? And I want you to ask yourself, do I find great meaning in my work? And I want you to answer this last question. Answer this in the chat box. Are you feeling as if there has to be more to life than this? This is where you are, because I'm going to talk to you about where we need to go. I just want to know if I'm talking to the right woman at the right time. Do you feel called to rise? Are you feeling as if there's more to life than this? Do you want to find great meaning in your work? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. 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 That's what's on. Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely. Yes. For sure. Yes. Wonderful. So I'm talking to the right people. I'm talking to the right people. So the other part of being inspired, I've already kind of shared this with you. I want you to now start thinking about, what if I didn't have to separate my work from my faith? What if the way to do great work is to integrate my faith into all facets of my life? Because a lot of us, we keep faith in these little boxes. We put it for church, we put it for our organizations like this, but when it comes to work, we're like, no, real work. I have to focus in this way. But what if, and I'm not talking about going into your workplace and trying to be a prophet and trying to, a lot of people think that bringing your faith into your work is using the language of Christianese. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bringing your spirit, understanding, like, okay, what should I do? No one needs to even know. People that bring their faith into work, some of them don't mention God to anyone ever, but the way they show up is different. The way they show up is different. What if elevating spiritually is the key? Let me give you an example. You know, the scripture says what is seen is made out of what is not seen. So many of us, we struggle with elevating. I don't know how many business owners are in the house. I don't mean, if you're a business owner, put it in the chat box. Say yes, business, or put 1 for business. Let me see. How many entrepreneurs are in here? Okay, got a couple, 1, couple of entrepreneurs. Example, let me give you an example. Imagine if you are a business owner and there's something that you want to do. Most women that I come across that are speaking from a place of that are not spirit-led are led by their own understanding. They just do a basic thing where they look at the money they have or what they think they have access to, and they use that to make decisions. That's not a bad thing, but that's a limited thing. But when you are thinking spiritually, right? When you're thinking spiritually, and the same is for career too. You might be thinking, well, you know, I'd love to be in the C-suite one day, right? But no woman has been in the C-suite in this organization before. It's never been done before. It's unprecedented. It's never been done before. Unprecedented is not the same thing as impossible, but you know, it's never been done before. So you're locked in. That's thinking in the natural. But when you're elevating spiritually, you're thinking differently. You're now saying, okay, what is it that God is saying I can do? And how can I do it? I want you to think back to a very popular, most women, Christian women understand, have read Proverbs 31, right? In fact, a lot of women tell me when they read Proverbs 31, they get exhausted because they're like, oh my gosh, she's doing this, she's doing that. Of course, you're going to be exhausted if you're thinking about it in the natural. But if you start to understand that the Proverbs 31 woman does not do it in the natural, she's not doing it in her own strength, she's doing it by the grace of God. You start to understand that grace is a strategy. It's a mystical strategy. It's a strategy that's available to us, but most of us don't take the time or understand how to demystify it. When you get connected to that, it will change your life because you will understand one simple verse. Let me give you an example. A verse in Proverbs 31 says, she considers a field and then she buys it. And so many of us are saying, wow, that kind of woman, she has such financial understanding that she can consider the field and she's able to buy it. No, let me shift your thinking. Let's do a paradigm shift. What if all you have to do as a woman of faith, as an inspired, iconic woman, is to consider a field, merely consider it, and God will open the door for you to buy it. But you have to understand what it means to consider it. This is the business of being inspired. It's not just by mouth. When you understand how deep it is to understand spiritual concepts and spiritual law, it will change your life. And this is part of the work that I do. You have to expand your consciousness to be able to receive the divine downloads that God wants to give to you, so much so that you can sit down and consider buying a private jet and God will open the door for you. I'm not talking about endlessly crying and praying and going here and there and going to every meeting. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but spending hours and hours in church without understanding and expanding your consciousness, you are missing it, because you cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. If you are not willing to do the work to become the new person, it doesn't matter where you go, it can't come in. You need to expand. And that's the inner work that we're talking about. That's the inner work. Let's talk about the second thing, courage. You have to have courage. Many of us say we want something, but we don't have the courage to receive it. You don't have the courage. It takes courage. Lord, I'm ready to go to that next level. I want to be a millionaire. I want to take my business to the next level. I want to be a CEO. I want to do X, Y, Z. But you don't have the courage to say yes. When the opportunity comes, you're like, I don't know. Sometimes the opportunity comes and it's saying, well, it's requiring something for you. You're like, oh, someone's like, oh, you should come to this conference with me. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Then you see the amount it's costing. You're like, that's too much. Meanwhile, you're going to spend that same amount of money on something random in a year. You won't even know. I always make a joke with Africans. I said, by the time here in the US, for example, right, you will say, how can I spend $1,000? How can I spend $5,000? How can I spend even $500? Meanwhile, you spend that same amount on goat meat in a quarter. Goat meat. Do you know a cow? I just came back from a funeral. We had a funeral for my dad. Do you know a cow is $1,000? A cow. And I'm like, it's a cow. And we're not willing to invest merely a cow in our next level. And you want to go somewhere, it's impossible. You have to have the courage. Someone said, again, I just came off a mastermind cohort. And she said that the amount that she spent on the mastermind was a test of her faith. And that she spent it, she invested it. And that when she paid for it, she was like, oh my God. And she said within a few weeks, she received a payment, unexpected payment for the same amount. You have to have courage. You have to have courage. I could tell you stories for a day. If you follow me, you know I tell my stories. Courage changes the game. I didn't have courage before and I was stuck. Now I have such courage and you see the things coming, opportunities come. You have to have courage to be authentic, to be who you're called to be. You have to have that courage. You have to have the courage to do the soul work, to really get through the blocks and the ego that you have. You have to have that courage. If you don't have courage, nothing is going to change. But if you have courage, you'll be able to it takes courage to be great. It takes courage to stand in your power. If you can sing, it takes courage to sing. If you know how to analyze things, it takes courage to raise your hand and say, I can do this. I'm the one for the job. The minute you have courage, it's a game changer. This is someone that was in our mastermind and she wrote me this. She put this in our Facebook group, right? And she said, you give me the tools and open my eyes to see it is possible to stay true to my heart and to rise to my calling. It is possible. She was able to identify her superpowers. And it moved her so much. She said, if I speak to you, I'm going to be crying tears. I'm telling you, when you discover yourself and you start to live in congruence with that, it's as if you've come home to yourself. And when you become courageous and you face your fears, you will see everything in life begin to shift in accordance to that. You'll stop settling for peanuts. You'll stop working like an elephant and eating like an ant. You'll stop accepting rubbish in your personal or your professional lives. You'll start to boldly ask and command the value that you bring. And that will change everything in your life, whether you're a career woman, whether you are a business owner, whether you're a mother, whether you're single, wherever you are, it will change everything. It will change everything. It takes courage to be able to live the way God intends you to live. So I'd like you to take a minute in the chat box, right? Put in the chat box any areas where you need to develop more courage. Put in the chat box. I'm going to keep moving because I have a lot to cover and I want to make sure I give you some time to ask questions. So put it in the chat box. Any areas you're going to work on for courage. The other thing that you need to think about is being original. I talked about courage to be authentic. Sometimes you don't even know who you are. So many of us have been taught to perform a version of ourselves, and we're constantly performing. So we've lost touch with who we're called to be. I teach on being original. I teach on your zone of genius. I teach on understanding what makes you iconic. I teach on your superpowers. I teach on your leadership archetype. These are things that help you understand facets of yourself that you didn't know, right? I'm just going to give you something to work with even in this webinar. Ask yourself, what are my gifts? Ask yourself, what does it mean for me to be fully expressed? Ask yourself that. How do I uniquely find meaning in things? And what does success look like for me? When you bring those things to the table, it changes things for you. Like for me, success has a lot to do with liberty. I have to be free. I have to feel like I can, flexibility is important to me, right? The way I express myself is feminine, I like beautiful things. I like pretty things. I like luxurious things, right? But I'm still a very unpretentious person. I also like to be down to earth. I like fun things. I don't believe in any sort of elitism. So I bring all of that into my work. When I go to do anything, I'm always thinking about what feels best to me, what that does is attracts the right people for me. Some of you are trying to convince people to accept you, right? But when you are fully yourself, you attract the right people for you, whether it's personally or professionally. Every single thing about you is intentional. Your backstory, whether you're from Kenya, whether you're from the, Nnewi or wherever it is you're from, whether you're from Boston, whether you went to this particular school, whether you sound this way or speak that way. So many of us are so busy trying to fit an ideal in our minds, we are losing the very things that make us unique. We're in a world of sameness. If you are going to be able to become iconic, you have to be willing to tap into what makes you unique. And you have to understand that your own path is different from everybody else's path. And it's beautiful and it's powerful in and of itself. You have to be willing. You can't be struggling, trying to figure out, follow other people, copying other people. You have to know what is unique to me. And that's part of the work so many of us struggle with, because we have been living in a world that takes away our uniqueness and just wants to slot us into a box. But God made you intentionally. And so in order for you to create your own unique path to success, you have to be able to tap into your own internal iconic power. There's a text I received from one of the women that graduated from my program. And she said, Iconic Woman is still working for me. I just closed a $2 million deal. The shift from relying on external forces to the embodiment of my own internal iconic power is what did it for me. Achievements are limitless. These are real people. Real people. If you came to the retreat last year, you heard her actually talk about it in live in person. So I want to talk to you about the zone of genius. Now, the zone of genius is not unique to me. A lot of the other concepts I've spoken to are unique to me, but the zone of genius is not unique to me. It's a idea made popular by psychologist Gay Hendricks, right? And the idea of the zone of genius is that there are 4 zones that we all tend to operate in: the zone of incompetence, the zone of competence, the zone of excellence, and then the zone of genius. The zone of incompetence, stuff that you're doing, you don't do it well. It takes you a long time to do it and you hate doing it. The zone of competence, you do it okay, right? It may take you a long time to do it. You don't enjoy doing it. The zone of excellence, you do it pretty well. You do it better than most people, right? But it doesn't make your soul sing. You don't particularly enjoy doing it, but you do it well enough, right? The zone of genius, you love doing it, you do it effortlessly, and you do it better than most people. And it makes you excited to do it. Okay. Now, most people stay in the zone of incompetence, right? Especially an example for me, zone of incompetence. I always share the story. Housework. I have no shame. I'm not great at housework. It takes me a long time to clean. I clean in between my housekeeper coming, but it takes me a longer time. I'm not, it doesn't make me happy, right? I clean because I don't want to live in squalor, right? But it doesn't make me happy. One of the things I know as I keep, I add more in support around that area, right? And so living in the United States is not the same as living in Nigeria. But let's say I'm, one of the things, even no matter where I live, eventually have a full-time housekeeper because it's just not something that is a good use of my time. Zone of competence, things that you do, right? But someone else could easily do it. The zone of genius for me, for example, is speaking. Like you can wake me up from my bed and say, hey, can you come speak to these people? Sure. I've literally been in a room. I was just in a room in Lagos and I just came in and, they recognized that I was in the room and the organizer was like, can you speak for a few minutes? And I was like, sure. I literally just came from lunch. I was even wearing slippers when I came into the room. That just shows you and I'm immediately sharing even brand new things I hadn't talked about before, just 5 minutes, because it's who I'm created to be. And your zone of genius, when you do that and you do that so well, people are willing to pay you the highest level of compensation. When you operate in your zone of excellence, you're paid well for the most part, but you're still commodified because other people can do what you do. Not as many people, which is, the higher you go, the more money you can charge, right? Or the more compensation you demand. But when you're in the zone of genius, not only do you love it, so you can do it whenever, however, you never really get tired. You never really work a day in your life. You keep doing it. The more you stay there, the better and better you get at it, the higher the compensation. So I'd like you guys to take a quick minute and think about the things that I've said. And if you have questions, this is a good time to ask some questions, right? How many of you feel as if I want you to think about the zones: incompetence, competence, excellence, and genius. And then just kind of write down for yourself where you think you spend most of your time. So spend most of my time in competence or maybe excellence or genius. Where you think, just put that in the chat box. Just take a minute to do that. While you do that, I'm just going to reiterate, because when you understand these things, these are the things that allow you to be more strategic. So you're not struggling, you're not working like a dog, you're not hustling, you're not stressing. You begin to be more significant because you are more valuable, because you're showing people this thing that you do, right, that no one else can do the way you do it. So we have competence. You spend most of your time in competence. Excellent. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. If you're spending most of your time in incompetence, you're going to be extremely frustrated, and everyone around you is likely going to be very frustrated with you. If you're spending most of your time in competence, you are likely underpaid and undervalued, but likely overworked. If you're spending your time in competence and excellence, mix, right, you are probably better paid, but you might be unfulfilled, feeling tired, feeling like, oh, anyway, let me just go get this done, right? You're one of those people who's probably living for the weekend or living for vacations. If you're spending most of your time in excellence, you're likely more highly paid. However, you are in that place where you're experiencing the call of the icon. You want significance. You don't typically rise to the highest levels of significance in excellence. You do to some degree, but not the way the genius is, right? So you want to kind of think about that. You're outsourcing, awesome. Your zones of incompetence and competence. And now I'll tell you the challenge with excellence and genius. When women are in excellence, it's comfortable because you're usually pretty highly paid because excellence is valuable, right? But something is missing. And it is one of the hardest leaps is to leap from excellence to genius, because excellence is comfortable. It's easier to leap from incompetence, like, let me get away from this, and to genius, to be honest. But excellence, you're well paid. That comfort zone it's very comfortable, but you cannot access what God has for you at the excellence level, because excellence is excellence. Genius is the game changer. And that's what I help women discover: what is their true zone of genius and how to build on it. And to help them take that process of leaving the zone of excellence to the zone of genius. Yes? Okay, awesome. Let's talk about being necessary. Okay, let's talk about being necessary. When you are necessary, everything about you design your life differently. Because a lot of women don't seem to understand that they're necessary. I didn't understand that. for a long time. Many of us, we treat ourselves as if we are disposable. You know how you treat something as disposable? Like think about the paper towels in your house. You just rip it, use it any kind of way, you toss it. You don't treat it with regard. That's how many of us treat ourselves. We let ourselves be run down. We let ourselves be broken down. We tolerate all sorts of nonsense. We let people talk to us any kind of way. We talk to ourselves any kind of way. We don't treat ourselves with regard. We don't go to sleep to treat our bodies well. We don't eat to treat our bodies well. We don't exercise to feel good in our bodies. We're critical of ourselves. We let people around us be critical of ourselves as well. We don't treat ourselves like something that's necessary. I want you to begin to think about somebody that you think is necessary, the way that person is valued, and then now begin to understand that I am necessary. Put that in the chat box. Say, I am necessary, and so I deserve to be valued. Let me break down what necessary looks like. Necessary means leading with your why. Your why is your purpose. Miles Monroe used to say, when he was alive, that when the purpose of something is unknown, abuse is inevitable. So many of us don't know our purpose. You don't know why you're here. But if you understand why you're here, you know what to say yes to and what to say no to. If you understand why you're here, the way you will move and address your life, you'll become highly valued. The zone of genius, I operate in my zone of genius primarily because I know I'm necessary. I need to operate in that zone. That's what makes me necessary. That's what, when I'm operating in that zone, that's when I'm most highly impactful. So I want to say yes to those opportunities. In fact, when those opportunities are not there, I will go and ask for the opportunity because I know I'm highly impactful. I know if I'm in a room, I don't sit in a room. I don't walk into any room and sit there and pray for somebody to notice me. If I'm in a room and I have the opportunity and I know I can add value, I will raise my hand and say, I'm here. And if I am here, I know I'm here for a reason. May I share? May I bless somebody with this? May I offer you something? When you know you are necessary, you don't shrink. When you know you are necessary, you treat yourself with value because you know you have to sustain. You have to be sustainable. One of the things I teach my program, the reason why it's an 8-month program is I'm not interested in giving you 6. I could do that. I do strategy sessions. I can do that. I've been in this business a long time. I don't call myself a business coach, but I've coached many people to highly profitable businesses. I don't call myself a career coach, but I've literally coached people into the C-suite. I've done all of those things, but I tell you the reason why I don't lead with those results. I lead with the inner work because I know that if you don't do the inner work, if you're in a hurry, you just want to I just want to be in the C-suite, I just want to make all the money. Those things, that success that people are looking for, if you haven't done the work to become the woman, the success you're looking for can destroy you. Sustainability is key. Sustainability is key. It's so important. When you understand you're necessary, like I said, you don't shrink. This is another text. This was in the Facebook group for the mastermind. And she said, I keep hearing Akena's voice in my bed. I talked in my head, stop self-abandoning. So many of us self-reject. Before anyone tells you no, you've already told yourself no. You've already said, I can't do it before someone says you can't. And she shared how they offered her the position of director. She's the first woman, the first Black woman in her organization to be a director. And she herself had never been a director before. Before she would have said no, she would have found a way to reject it, to self-reject. But because she understood she was necessary in that company, she had to say yes. The minute you understand some of these concepts, everything will shift. The next is being intentional. When you are an intentional woman, half the reason why many people are not successful is they're not intentional. They don't think about it. They wake up in the morning and just anyhow the day comes. They live their lives by default and not by design. When you live your life by design, that means you're intentional. So you have a strategy about how you live your life. It starts with owning your desires. And then you're now being intentional, like, okay, if this is what I say I want, then I'm setting my intentions in alignment with that desire. And then I'm going to pay attention to my intention, which means I am going to give energy, time, and focus to that thing that I say I want. So if you're saying I want a first-class life, this is a reel that is going to come out. I was setting up a reel just before this morning because I was doing some batch content. And I said, you cannot keep saying I want a first-class life, and then you keep treating yourself like a second-class citizen. You say, I want this, but when the opportunity comes, you won't invest in it. You won't say yes to it. You won't move things. Let me give you an example. I host a yearly retreat every year, the Iconic Woman Weekend. And one day I had put out copy saying, I took something from Forbes magazine and talks about why executives go on retreats regularly and why executives invest in retreats. And so I just put that copy on there and I said, this is why you should attend this retreat. Because if you're an executive woman, you need this, this, this. And I remember a woman, she bought the ticket. And later on, I met her. She came to me in the retreat, and she said to me, "I want to give you a testimony." I said, "Oh, okay. Tell me. I love testimonies." She said, "I bought this ticket because I saw where you wrote executive women need to take this sort of retreat." Right. And when I made that decision, I said, I'm going to buy this ticket. I was not at the executive level in my organization at that time, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go on this retreat and I'm going to buy it. And I believe that I'm an executive woman. And do you know? So she bought the retreat. Like right now, we're selling our retreat. It's in November. So she bought it like a few months ahead, right? It's May right now, right? Something like this. She said, do you know that just before I got here, before this event, I bought it and I just lived in it. I believed it. Just before I got here, I got a promotion and now I'm considered a senior executive. There's power in this. Paying attention to your intention. I want to believe that there are probably other things that she was doing, because the minute you begin to see yourself as an executive, you begin to act differently. The minute you begin to see yourself as successful, you begin to move differently. Do you know that what people see is based on what you see? This is why you can see, for example, you can see one woman who is whatever you want to say. Maybe you will say she's plus size, she is whatever, right? I'm living proof. I'm plus size, I'm dark skinned. In Nigeria, sometimes people say negative things about those things. But let me tell you, I walk in, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine as wine. I didn't always believe this, by the way. Even when my stomach was flatter, when I was younger, it's like I wasted my 16 years. When I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, my body was fire. For my non-Nigerians, just follow along with me, Fire. If I had that body today, you guys would be over. Finished on Instagram. You would just cancel me. All right. But I didn't understand the value of it. I didn't understand the value. So I didn't live according with that. But when you know who you are, and you believe in yourself and you love your body, you love how you feel, people see that. If you believe you're the best, people will see that and they will connect to that. And so you live in alignment with that. Being intentional is the key. And one of the things I help people do is really deconstruct that. And so in the mastermind, I don't really do one-on-one coaching, but I work closely with the mastermind people as well. And even the new iteration, we have new coaches. So I don't even have to do this, what I used to do. I've infused this into the program. The program gives you a depth of insight and empowerment and education. And I help you understand who you are. I help you get a roadmap of actionable steps. And I help you have a bigger vision than you could ever have cultivated on your own. And this is what someone said exactly that they got. I wanted to share that with you. The last piece of the iconic framework is being compelling. Most of us don't understand this. We live in a sea of sameness. And so we don't know how to set ourselves apart. But the only people that are iconic are people who are set apart. You have to be unique. You have to be recognized as something different. First, you have to be seen as the best. And many of us have a hard time doing this. You have to understand how to toot your own horn. There is a way to do it. This is not to just go out and say, I'm the best. If you do that, you will find that you will maybe attract some people, but you attract as many negative comments as you do positive. Women are also penalized for saying this. A man can go and say, I'm the best, but you have to understand the feminine art. And that's one of the things I help you do. You have to understand that when you become compelling, right? How you live your life in such a way that you attract the very best things. And not only do you attract, you repel the things that are not good for you. That's what compelling means. Like you're magnetic, like a magnet. Have you ever seen a magnet work? Like it's like the thing has no choice but to boom. The way you operate, the way your being is so strong, things just keep coming. Boom, boom, boom. The best things and the worst things just keep being repelled. They'll come, but they don't even have a choice. They have to be repelled. When you understand how to be compelling, you understand strategic visibility. So many women are not successful. They're not at the highest levels because they don't know how to be seen the right way. They don't know how to think about where they are seen and how they are seen. But when you understand that, it changes everything. It changes everything. You will be seen, the work you're doing. Many women are just working, thinking the work will speak for themselves. No, you have to learn. You have to learn how to make your work speak. And these are some of the things I share with women how to do. So I want you to think about, the earlier dream that we had where you took a time, the visualization, thinking about what life could look like as an iconic woman. Think about that for a second. Take hold of it, right? And then I want to share with you, I told your organizers that, of course, there's no way I'm going to come on something like this and not share with you an opportunity to help you go deeper into the work that we do. So before I go into Q&A, I want to share with you this opportunity. All these women here are alumni of the Iconic Women Mastermind, and there's more women that we need to add to it now. But at the time that we created this graphic, this is even just one picture, one graphic. We have another graphic with how many more faces on there. These are all alumni and they span across the globe, different sectors. There's entrepreneurs, there's pastors, there's corporate women, there's psychologists, there's all kinds of women that have come through our doors. And this mastermind is 8 months, is in depth. It allows you to do the work that we're talking about. If any of the things that we've talked about are resonant for you, this is an opportunity for you to deep dive. It is the investment that would change the rest of your life. I can say that with all humility, but also authority, because we work hard in what we're doing. It is that inner work. This is not just a nice to have. This is a need to have, because you have to rise to elevate others. You have to give. I've shared with you the way we kind of break things down, what you need to do, and I'm happy to take more questions, but I want to share this particular piece with you. The other thing I want to tell you is that we have this. So right now, the next cohorts are opening in July, actually. We have two cohorts opening in July. But I do know, one, you should apply. So if you're on here, please put that in the chat box so people can click on the link and go, right? Actually put in the link to speak to somebody. So put in the Calendly link. If you're here, put that in for me, please, right? So put that in the chat box. So one of my team members should be in the room. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you is that if you are not ready, right, for the full mastermind, you should apply to speak to somebody anyway, that you just talk to them, right? And one of our coaches will walk you through the program and actually make sure you're a good fit for it. But I've decided that I'm going to have a one-day mastermind, right, next month, one day, so that you get 4 hours to deep dive. We only have limited seats. Right? We won't even have as many women as we have on here, where I'm going to actually be able to deep dive with you. Right. So the application for the mastermind, you get to talk to somebody right now. It's an application. But this program you're registering is June 18th. I'm going to sit with a small group of women and we're going to deep dive and come up with your own strategy and your own blueprint. You get a sense of what a mastermind looks like. And I'm going to actually offer you an opportunity to take what you've learned and upgrade if you want to upgrade into the mastermind. If you don't, that's fine, but you're going to learn great things. The last time I did an intensive like this, it's been a while since I did this, but the last time I did this, I tell you, within 60 days, one of the women that came in, she had said she wanted to make $250,000 in her business. She had never made over $100,000 in her business at that time. When we sat down and we broke it down, we created a strategy. I ran into her 2 months later. She said, "You will not believe it. I've made $66,000. $66,000. So it is huge, the opportunity. So can you put all that information in the chat box, what it is, the offer? We have a special offer for you guys. Ify's going to help you. And we have a special offer for EPR Global. That is a special fast acting offer for the one-day mastermind. So Ify will put that in there while I take your questions. So
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Oh, wow. Ladies, what do you think? What are you thinking? Thank you so much. Whew. Mind-blowing indeed. Oh, wow. All right. I've taken down so many notes and I'm thinking, oh my God, I need to listen to this again. And it was so refreshing just listening. So I see a lot of information about the mastermind. is coming up in chat and everything. Please capture that. If you have any questions, we have a few minutes just in the interest of time. This has been so educative. This has been so just insightful. I'm sure you've gained a lot from it. We usually don't go this long, but I'd like to take 1 or 2 questions. If anybody has any questions, you have very specific questions for Ekene, please do put it in chat right now. Or if you want to raise your hand to actually ask, you can do so. Anybody? I don't see any names. I don't see any questions coming in. While we're waiting, if we don't have anybody, I do have a question. And this is less about the program. And again, we've captured so much. I want you to talk a little bit about mental health. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're all hearing so much about it and everything. And so women and, your, mental health, do you have anything to just share with us as we celebrate this month, as we think about, I know you've shared a lot even around this area, but what are there 1 or 2 specific strategies that you say, as an iconic woman, you want to incorporate this into your life? I'm sure if you sign up for the program, you get a lot of insight, but can you give us, just a couple of things, a couple of thoughts?
Sure. So, I'll share a little bit about my experiences and how I help protect myself, because I think one of the first things that is really important is recognizing that mental wellness, right? I think we need to shift the idea that, some people are mentally ill, right? Versus thinking mental illness is something that can happen to everyone. It's like a cold, it's like a virus. And so mental wellness is like taking your vitamins. You know how we take vitamin C and whatnot. Right. So being really intentional about it. We need to shift out of the idea that, some people just end up like that, like does madness run in your family type of thing. Right? Get out of that concept, because really the world we're living in today can break anyone down. I mean, I just think about the last 2-3 years, right? So many people have slid into depression. Right now, they're talking about the 4th wave from the pandemic. And the 4th wave is mental illness, right? Anxiety, depression, these disorders, because of the experiences that we've all been having and the level of stress that we're operating in the world today. And so we have to be super intentional about our mental wellness. And in fact, one of the things we did yesterday, I went to the park. I go to Stone Mountain. So the woman who attended the Iconic Woman Weekend, so the retreat that I have every year, one of the reasons why we do the retreat is to give people an intentional opportunity to step away from their lives and to heal, right? So the last time, I'm just going to tell you, I took them on a path that I take every day. Well, not every day, but as often as I can. And it's through the woods, right? And, I want you, it's like an hour trail through the woods. Yesterday, I was by myself, walking through the woods. It's beautiful, it's incredible. And the Japanese call it forest bathing. And just being there in the trees and nature is very healing for me. And I listen to a book, or I'll listen to music, or I'll praise and worship, or I'll just pray as I walk. Quietly, I use it as quiet time. It has been one of the most healing experiences, and I'm intentional about it. And I pay attention, like, I haven't been walking in a while. I can tell when I have tension in my body and my mind. And so I would offer that to your group to say, do you know what nourishes your mind? You know what nourishes your spirit? Like, you have to have clarity on these things nourish me. So that was one of the nourishing things that we did. I took some of the women when they went. It was so interesting to see the different experiences of the women that went in. There was one woman she had already been thinking in her mind that, you know what, I'm going to leave. When these people go, I'm not going to go with them. I'll just stay in the bus. When she looked up, the bus had left that took us, and she had no choice but to follow along. That same woman I met her because I met up with her group, and she's like, oh my God, Akene, this is amazing. I have to bring my husband, I have to bring my children. This is so wonderful. All we were doing was walking through and being present in our bodies, present to everything around us. And it was so powerful. It's such a shift. So I would offer what nourishes your mind and your spirit and your soul. Don't take it lightly. It has to be like a vitamin that you're taking every day. Okay, I need this. your mental wellness, you can't afford to treat it just any kind of way.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I, couldn't agree with you more. The walking, taking in it. I love the concept of walking in the woods. I'm not a big, hiker or anything. I'm like, oh my God, but I can just imagine just being in that quiet space. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So ladies, there is so much to glean from, the information about the programs are in chat. So please pay attention. I think the only question I see coming in here is, when are you going to speak again in Nigeria?
I don't know. We'll see. I may be there over the summer. I may not. I don't know. But I'm always speaking. So if you are following me on Instagram, the best way to know about that is follow me on Instagram, get on my mailing list, and then I'll be able to let you know. And the two things that I think are really key, I've talked about the mastermind. Of course, I invite each and every one of you to make that, at least inquire, right? Inquire. But the second thing is our Iconic Woman Weekend, which is in Jamaica this year. Yeah, so it's in Nigeria. So you want to go and inquire about that. We have some people coming from Nigeria, actually. So it is, and that's an extraordinary experience for you, right? It is a game changer in the way we live our lives. So yeah, I don't know when next. If you want to invite me, I fly business class. No, no, but
hey, why not? Why not? Why not?
Hey, so go ahead. If you want to invite me down, by all means, let me know. Your organization can get in touch. Ife's in the chat. She's our community manager. So get in touch with her. Yeah, I don't know when next I'm around, but we'll see.
So follow. So I believe the Instagram handle iconic woman hood _coach is in chat. Please follow Ekene. Thank you so much, Ekene. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Just thank you for sharing, for pouring your heart out to us. I mean, and I believe that's what you've truly done. No matter what, the ladies decide to do after this, I believe that they have gained so much. I have, and I can't wait to even just go back and listen in and, understand what my next steps are. This is like so relevant. I'm just taking it on. So thank you, ladies. Again, feel free to share your feedback. I've seen a lot of feedback, in chat. Again, amazing session. I'll just share a couple of announcements and we'll wrap up. Thank you to everyone for sticking around a little bit longer than usual, but this, I believe it's worth it 100%. A couple of announcements. We have our Inspiring Conversations season premiere for 2022 coming up next week, Saturday. So we have our amazing Dolapo Olufamilayo, our host, and guest Maureen Osuji, who's going to be talking about identity. Amazing, even as we've just went through this topic, about knowing who we are and everything. And, we'll talk about Maureen's journey. So please join us at 12 noon Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. BST and WAT, and 7 p.m. East African time for our ladies in Kenya and Tanzania. And also, of course, we have our monthly sessions in June. Every third Saturday in the month of June, we have our webinar. So we have another one coming up on June 18th. So mark your calendars. More information about the topic and details will be shared shortly. I want to invite you very importantly, we'd love to hear your feedback. Once you're done with this session, you're going to get from Zoom, you're going to get a feedback form. Please fill it out. We want your feedback. We read it. It informs what we share in our future session. So we're really bringing to you what you're really looking for. We're grateful to God for these amazing speakers like Ekene that just come in and just pour into our lives on a regular basis. So, but we want to make sure that it's relevant to you. So share what's on your heart with us and we can respond. And of course, we want to invite you to join our network of EPR Christian professional women. We, are here to connect. We pray, we lead, we mentor, we network. We have so much to offer. We have so many, resources and tools that we have now and we'll be bringing to you in the future. So please sign up on eprglobal.com and we'll be happy to connect with you. You can also follow us on all our social media handles at EPR Global, Instagram, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we're all there. All right. Thank you, as well as LinkedIn. Finally, again, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone for joining us. If there's anyone that's joining us for the very first time, I see a number of new names. Let's see. All right. Anybody joining us for the very first time, again, thank you to everyone, especially those of us who join us every single month. We want to say thank you. Is there anyone joining us for the very first time? We usually have giveaways for our first timers. Hint, hint. We want to appreciate you. We want to celebrate you. Can you indicate in chat? Anybody? Saratu. Hi, Saratu. Where are you joining us from? And who invited you? And we also have Fumilayo. Oh, hi, Saratu from Abuja, from what I see here. All right. Oh, wow. We have Titilayo. We have Monica. Amazing. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Welcome. And I hope you found this really super helpful. Again, fill out our feedback form. We want to know where you, how you connected with us. Again, did anybody specifically invite you? We also want to appreciate, whoever invited you. Fumi from London. Hi. Okay, Nike. That Nike Shoyinka that invited you, or Nike Drabalawa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we've captured your names. We have so many new folks. And so again, we appreciate you all. We'll be doing a drawing on this one. So we will reach out to you. We'll do a quick drawing. And I don't know if we have anybody on YouTube, and we'll mix up the names. Oh, we have Judy. Judy, is this your first time? All right, you invited me through email. All right. Oh, wow, through Glory. Amazing, Fumilayo. Wow, wow. Yeah, we have our conference going on every single year, our Emergence Conference. We're getting ready for our conference. Great, great, great. Wow. It's amazing how these networks just continue. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So again, I just want to celebrate you all for joining. And again, we have these sessions every single month. Third Saturday of the month. Usually we have it at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We had it a little bit later this time around. But again, we invite you to join us, and just, we have a lot going on within EPR. So once you follow our handles, you'll be up to speed with regards to everything that's going on. I want to appreciate everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Stay encouraged, stay empowered, stay equipped. And until next time, just signing out. This is Kemi Akindotira from EPR Women's Professional Network. Thank you.